I'm going back a bit here, but you were talking about how you find it different writing before than now. Are you finding it more difficult writing now as it used to be, or is it?
I don't know about you, but I'm terribly disappointed that writing gets more difficult. I thought when I started off in this game that it would get easier. I mean, you know, you strip a car engine out, you can put it back together again. That's quite hard. The second time you do it, it's a wee bit easier. Third time, fourth time. By the 20th or 30th time, you've got a range of engines you can deal with, and you're quite dexterous. And I just find it ain't like that with fiction writing. It gets harder.
I can remember when my first book was published 10 years ago. You were 15 years down the line. I can remember a phone conversation when you said it doesn't get any easier. I can remember that, and that was 10 years ago.
I think it doesn't get any easier for various reasons. I mean, number one, you're up against yourself. You're your own hardest critic, hopefully, and you want each book to be better than the book before. You don't want to be treading water. You don't want a feeling that your books are getting worse. So you're working hard to make... I mean, there's only a year between these books. You know, how do you make this book a substantial step forward from that previous book that you were quite happy with? So you've got that. Then you've got all these other writers, and you want to be better than them as well. You know, I mean, it's collegiate, but also it's, you know, competitive in the crime writing field. So you've got that, and you just want to keep learning, you want to keep changing, you want to keep evolving. And the thing is that I feel myself, if I wrote the perfect book, a novel that distilled everything I wanted to say about the world, answered all my questions about the world, and did it in a way that I couldn't improve upon on any page, I would never write again.
Yeah.
And that's To Kill a Mockingbird, basically.
Yeah.
I think she felt...
Yeah, absolutely. And she did.
And she did. I mean, and I can think of a few writers, I'm sure we all can, who maybe should have stopped a few books ago. In all kinds of fields, but let's not go there until we've had a few drinks in the bar.
One more question, sir?
Given that, you know, Scotland's become a lot more multicultural, are you expecting to see, or would you be surprised to see, kind of Scottish crime novels with non-Scottish protagonists, or is it the Scottishness of the protagonist that kind of sells the books to particularly an international audience?
No, I expect to see that, and I would love to see it as well. I mean, there's a lot of communities in Scotland that I would like to know more about. Not just cities, not just towns or villages, but different cultures, different communities that I would find out about through reading fiction. I mean, one of the problems, and this is kind of a slight tangent, but one of the problems we've had in the UK generally is that we don't translate. We've been very slow to translate, and in fact, the Scandinavian crime writers have been a boon here because they have shown publishers that you can translate books and sell, and they'll sell well. So they're looking at all these different cultures now around the world, not just in the UK, but around the world, and they're looking at different cultures and saying, oh, so readers in the UK and readers in America are interested in what's happening in these different places, right? Let's look for writers that are showing that. And whenever I go abroad, if I go to India or if I go to Japan or I'm going to Turkey soon, I'm looking for the crime fiction set there. And frustratingly, a lot of it isn't translated, which is slightly a tangent to your point, but I think your point is valid. I think that crime fiction could do with that. I think we could do with that. It probably is still seen as being a bit white and a bit middle class. Certainly the readership.
Yeah. An Asian policeman in Glasgow?
I mean, just think of all the interesting things that would throw up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And not just in Glasgow. I mean, you know, anywhere. I would love to see that. Yeah.
You got one right? You right?
Have you got one on the go? Yeah. English protagonist will do for a start. Let's start breaking down those barriers slowly. Great. Are we about done?
I think we are. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think you have decided and we have decided that we will have Scotland's first crime writing festival, that we will call it Bloody Scotland, and I think we'll propose a toast. Lynn, Ian?
Do you want some water?
Is that water? No, I didn't want water. No.
It says Prosecco on it. Here's to Bloody Scotland.
To Bloody Scotland.
Bloody
Cheers.
Scotland.